I'm Eric Godfrey, and this is Real Life. Today we pick up part 2 of our study of Antichrist. Last time we looked at 2 Thessalonians 2 for a detailed description of who this character was. Today we leapfrog to the last book in the New Testament, Revelation, and to chapter 13 in order to gain further details about him and his cohorts. In verses 1 to 15, we discover a beast coming up out of the sea, which pictures a sea of people or world humanity. It has 10 horns and 7 heads. One of his heads seems to be fatally wounded, but then it is healed. The people of the earth will be amazed when they see that and will follow and worship him. He then blasphemes God and he wages war upon the tribulation saints who are alive on earth at that time. He's given authority over all the world and all people groups. Then another beast comes up out of the earth. This beast compels all people to worship the first beast whose mortal wound was healed. He performs signs and wonders. He deceives the people and tells them to make an image of the first beast. He then gives life to the image where it can speak and causes all who will not worship the beast to be killed. We can capsulize the references in Revelation 13 and 2 Thessalonians 2 this way: the unholy trinity. Those who will control the world during the tribulation period are the dragon, or Satan, Antichrist, who is the beast, the evil world dictator, and the other beast, a religious leader, the false prophet. In other words, Satan is the anti-God, the beast the Antichrist, and the false prophet is the anti-spirit. They work in unison to blaspheme God and believe that they will control his world. Now let's zero in on Revelation 13 verses 16 to 18, which talks about the mark of the beast. And he requires everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to be given a mark on his right hand or on his forehead, so that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark, the beast's name, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. The one who has understanding must calculate the number of the beast, because it is the number of a man. His number is 666. Are we quickly headed toward a one-world government that Antichrist will control? What will that control look like, and how will he do it? Just think about what we are experiencing present day with COVID-19. The world economy in distress. People living in fear. Isolation at home by government order. Police in the streets enforcing quarantines. Churches banned from meeting with threat of fines. Joblessness skyrocketing. Americans stripped of their freedoms to assemble, to buy and sell. Is this a precursor, a future picture of Antichrist's rule on earth? Remember, it's all about control. Listen to these past statements that bring present perspective to where we are at today. On April 19, 1994, Henry Kissinger said, "The New World Order cannot happen without U.S. participation, as we are the most significant single component. Yes, there will be a New World Order, and it will force the U.S. to change its perceptions." On September 23, 1994, at a UN Business Council meeting, David Rockefeller said, "We are on the verge of a global transformation. All we need is the right major crisis, and the nations will accept the new world order." Back in 2008, Rahm Emanuel, Obama's former chief of staff, stated about the financial crisis, "You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that is an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do before." Former Prime Minister Tony Blair, along with President Obama and John Kerry, spoke of a number of times about the necessity of a new world order. Just recently, May 14th, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot said this in a news conference where she was discussing what she considered should be the ideal mindset of government leaders. She said, and I quote, "We must choose leaders who are pledging their allegiance to the new world order. Coming soon is a new world order that will be controlled by Antichrist." In verse 16 that we just read, it says Antichrist will require everyone to be given a mark on either the hand or the forehead. Mark here is the Greek word charagma, which means an imprinted mark, to scratch or sharpen to a point. What did John see in that vision on Patmos? A hypodermic needle Or injector gun, which is a tool when sharpened to a point can make a scratch in the skin. 666. One of the cross references for the Greek words used for 666 is chi, si, stigma, and means not only 666 as a numeral, but also to stick, prick, or scratch for recognition of ownership or a mark incised. Did you know that the front part of a microchip is called an incisor? It appears that everything is in place for both a one-world government and a one-world religious system, and when people accept this mark, they will be accepting an economic system and a worship system that will both reject the person of Jesus Christ. A mark or chip will be a perfect vehicle for Antichrist to make use of. He will become an economic messiah of sorts to the world and will take control of the financial system. Now let's talk about the term human chipping. As far back as 2017, a Wisconsin vending machine company offered its employees a chance to have a microchip implanted in their hands that they could use to buy snacks, log into the computer, or use the copy machine. About 50 workers agreed to be chipped. The chips company's CEO Todd Westby said, "Eventually this technology will become standardized, allowing you to use this as your passport, public transit, all purchases, etc." Since 2018, thousands of people in Sweden have agreed to be chipped. Around the size of a grain of rice, the chips are typically inserted into the skin just above each user's thumb, using a syringe similar to that used for giving vaccinations. Keep that word in your mind, vaccinations. The procedure costs around $180. Edwin Black is an investigative journalist who's been reporting on the chipping phenomena and stated, "This means that human behavior can be trackable and controllable by an injector. And if the injector is a government or a corporation under the control of a government, we are turning a corner where government will be able to wipe out a whole class of people based on their origin or opposition to policy. If this technology becomes widely adopted, especially in totalitarian regimes like China, we could see the dreaded transition to an unknown region of human existence." He went on to say, "With AI, anything will be possible. A kill mechanism could be part of a chip implant." Today, we are fast becoming a surveillance society. Google and Apple track us with our phones. Cameras are everywhere, at traffic signals, grocery stores, gas stations, sporting events, etc. Did you know by the year 2022, China will have in place one camera for every 2 people in their population? Yet the Antichrist system of surveillance, which we are quickly headed towards, will be far more sophisticated than anything we've ever imagined. Could a chip or the mark that is coming contain a microphone, which could allow he and his minions to not only know where each person is located, but could listen in on every word they speak? Now let's talk about vaccinations. Could this be a tool that could lead to the marking of the beast? I don't know, and I'm not 100% certain. But consider this example. Just consider. Recently, Bill Gates was asked a question on how businesses will be able to operate while maintaining social distancing. And this is what he said. "Eventually, we will have to have some digital certificates to show who has recovered or has been tested recently, or when we get a vaccine, who has received it." These digital certificates Gates was referring to are human implantable quantum dot tattoos that researchers at MIT and Rice University are working on as a way to hold vaccination records. It was December 2019 when scientists from the 2 universities revealed that they were working on these quantum dot tattoos after Bill Gates approached them about solving the problem of identifying those who have been vaccinated. The quantum dot tattoos involve applying dissolvable sugar-based microneedles that contain a vaccine and fluorescent copper-based quantum dots embedded inside biocompatible micron-scale capsules. After the microneedles dissolve under the skin, they leave the encapsulated quantum dots whose patterns can be read to identify the vaccine that was administered. Now get this. There's a certain chemical that will make the quantum dot vaccination readable through a special mobile device app. The enzyme that will light up Bill Gates' human implantable quantum dot microneedle vaccination delivery system is called, are you ready? Luciferase. Look it up, luciferase. Before we go on, I just want to say on a personal note that I'm very suspect of Bill Gates' motives. Please do your own research and just see who he's partnering with and rubbing shoulders with. I will leave it at that. Now let's add some other bits of information that correlate somewhat with what we've just learned. Another undertaking of Gates is the ID 2020, which is a project by Microsoft to solve the problem of over 1 billion people who live without an officially recognized identity. ID 2020 is solving this through smartphones or RFID microchip implants. The Gates Foundation has also been funding another project that incorporates human implantable microchip implants. This project, also headed up by MIT, is a birth control microchip implant that will allow women to control contraceptive hormones in their bodies. Did you know that the Department of Health and Human Services recently partnered with a company called Appijet? They make a pre-filled syringe for injecting people with vaccines. On May 12th, the Department of Defense, along with HHS, handed Appijet a check for $138 million with an order to deliver hundreds of millions of these devices by October 2020. Here's something interesting about that device. Each pre-filled syringe has the option to include NFC chip that incorporates a secure, unique ID number. This enables healthcare professionals at the point of care to use an app on their smartphones to verify that the drug being injected is authentic and not expired. It also enables healthcare authorities to know in real time when and where each dose is injected. I believe all the groundwork and foundation has been laid for the Antichrist to step right into this world and take control, first subtly, as the serpent did with Eve, and then more overtly as he masterfully deceives the population of the earth. Remember what we saw in 2 Thessalonians 2? And God will send a strong delusion, and they will believe the lie. That's Antichrist. No man or woman will be able to buy or sell without the mark on their hand or forehead. But why the two options? Well, it's as one person said years ago. You can have one hand or both hands missing and still be alive. But you cannot be alive without having a head. Again, everything is in place to surveil and control the masses. Some are discussing the possibility of a contact tracing army during this COVID-19 dilemma. Central banks around the world are considering digital currency. AI is evolving to the point where everyone and everything could be monitored around the globe. And let's not forget about those pesky drones that can track, monitor, scan, extract data, record, swarm, quarantine, and even take out a target on 5G networks led with various AI-based technologies. Did you know that the #1 supercomputer in the world is located at the 1,000-acre NSA complex at Fort Meade, Maryland, and takes up a space of 10 acres? This computer is tied together with 52 separate computer systems used throughout the world. It has the capability of capturing and analyzing almost every phone call, email, internet, and radio message that takes place around the globe. Yes, Antichrist will come. But thank God, all of us who are believers will not be here to experience those dreadful 7 years. We will instead be in heaven, celebrating with Jesus at the marriage supper of the Lamb. Keep looking up, my Christian friends. Until next time, this is Real Life, and I'm Eric Godfrey.